So next here let us discuss the stability of the cycloalkanes. So first of all, the stability of cycloalkanes is explained by the Bayer. Okay, another theory named Bayer angle strain theory. Okay, Bayer angle strain theory. So here Bayer calculated the angle difference. So based on the angle difference, here they propose a stability order for the cycloalkanes. That means here he assumed that all cycloalkanes are planar. If all cycloalkanes are planar, your inner angle is 60 degrees. Inner angle is 60 degrees. But here this sp3 carbon, this one is the sp3 carbon. So every sp3 carbon must have 109 degrees 28 minutes. That means here if two hybrid orbitals are formed, like in a sp hybridization, two hybrid orbitals are initially formed. Those two hybrid orbitals are arranged in a linear geometry with 180 degrees. That means here to get the minimum electron repulsion, those hybrid orbitals are arranged in a particular geometry. That means here to get to nullify the electron repulsion. For suppose three hybrid orbitals are arranged in a trigonal planar shape, and four hybrid orbitals are arranged in a tetrahedral geometry and bond angle 109 degrees. That means here all hybrid orbitals are separated by the angle 109 degrees 28 minutes. That means here all electron repulsions are equalized. Okay. So sp3 carbon must have the 109 degrees. Otherwise it is a unstable one. Okay, otherwise it is a unstable. Now here in this case here sp3 carbon that must have the 109 degrees, but here the angle is 60 degrees. So there is an angle difference. Okay, there is an angle difference. So and here these bonds are the weaker bonds and the cyclic ring is very unstable ring. Okay, that cyclic ring instability is explained by the angle strain. Angle strain means here that sp3 carbon, even sp3 carbon that does not have 109 degrees. Inner angle is 60. Now here the Bayer calculated the angle strain, the difference between the inner angle and the tetrahedral angle. Okay, and divided by 2. So Bayer angle strain is 24 degrees 44 minutes, the difference. Now for the 4-membered ring inner angle here 90 degrees. So here Bayer angle 90 minus 109, 28 minutes. So here 9.9 degrees 44 minutes. And for cyclopentane here in internal angle 108. Internal angle 108. So 108 minus 109, 28 degrees. This is a Bayer angle strain. Now for cyclohexane, if it is a planar, actual angle is 120 degrees. Okay. So this is a 5 degrees 44 minutes. That means here this cyclopentane almost approaches tetrahedral angle 108. Okay. So here from Bayer strain theory, a stability of cycloalkane, cyclopentane more stable, and then cyclohexane, and then cyclobutane, and leads to cyclopropane. The stability order given by the Bayer angle strain theory is this one. Okay, based on the just angle difference. Okay, that means here the point is if two hybrid orbitals must be arranged in a this one linear geometry with 180 degrees. For suppose here this one hybrid orbital, this is the hybrid orbital. These two hybrid orbitals are arranged with 90 degrees. Here more repulsions between the electron and electron. That's why these are arranged in a linear geometry in order to get the minimum electron repulsions. Okay. So based on that, this is the stability order. Cyclopentane is more stable from Bayer angle strain theory. But here experimental stability order is different from this order given by the Bayer. So here experimental stability order is cyclohexane and cyclopentane, cyclobutane, cyclopropane. This is the experimental stability order of the cycloalkanes. Okay. Now here how this is calculated. That means here how it should be explained. Okay, the actual stability order is this one. So here in this case here, the stability order is given from the heat of combustion value. From heat of combustion value. From the heat of combustion. If organic compound is heated in the presence of O2, that gives us CO2 and H2O. And that gives us some energy, that is nothing but heat of combustion. Nothing but heat of combustion. If higher the heat of combustion, so generally here, see this one, heat of combustion, okay, HOC, heat of combustion directly proportional to molecular weight. With increasing molecular weight, heat of combustion increases. Now here, for same molecular weight compound, that means here for isomeric compound, heat of combustion inversely proportional to stability. Inversely proportional to stability. Okay. So here in this case, from heat of combustion, how this stability order is given? For suppose, see this one, heat of combustion per molecule. Heat of combustion per molecule. Cyclohexane, cyclopentane, cyclobutane, cyclopropane. With increasing molecular weight, heat of combustion increases. This one has a higher molecular weight, 6 carbons. So higher molecular weight. This one has a higher heat of combustion. These are not the isomeric compounds. These are the homologous compounds. Differ by 1 CH2. Now here see this one, heat of combustion per CH2 unit. Per CH2 unit. In this case 3 CH2 units, 4 CH2 units, 5 CH2 units and here 6 CH2 units. Now here for suppose, let us say for our convenience I am giving this values. Okay, these are not the actual values. So here heat of combustion 30 kilocalorie per mole. Heat of combustion 30 kilocalorie per mole. This 30 kilocalorie for 3 carbons, that means for 3 CH2. So here per 1 CH2 that is 10 actually. Per 1 CH2 that is 10. Okay. Now here, so for 1 CH2 10. Now for 4 CH2 that should be 40. That should be 40. But here in this case, actual heat of combustion is 36. That means here 36 by 4 because 4 CH2 units, so that equals to 9 actually. That equals to 9. Now here for this one actually heat of combustion value is 40. Heat of combustion value is 40. That means there are how many CH2 units? 5 CH2 units. So here per CH2 is 8. 40 by 8. Okay, 40 by 5 actually. That gives 8. That means per CH2 8. Per CH2 8. Now here for this one actually here total heat of combustion 42. That means here per CH2 is 7. Per CH2 7. 6 carbons totally. So 42 by 6 equals to 7. So here per CH2 compare just the heat of combustion is like this. Okay, per CH2. That means here 7, here 8, here 9, here 10. Okay, here by 3, here by 4, here by 5, here 6. That's it. So actually here heat of combustion increases from cyclopropane to cyclohexane because molecular weight increases. But that increase is very less. That increase is very less because from cyclopropane to cyclohexane stability increases. With increasing stability, heat of combustion decreases. So if you calculate the per CH2 commonly higher for the cyclopropane. So that's why cyclopropane is the least stable, cyclohexane is more stable than the cyclopentane. But here Bayer given that cyclopentane is more stable. What is wrong with this Bayer angle strain theory? Actually here Bayer assumed that all these cycloalkanes are exist in a planar shape. All these cycloalkanes are exist in a planar shape. That means here he assumed that all carbons are in the same plane. That means it is a flat molecule. Here all 5 carbons in the same plane, flat molecule. All 4 carbons present in the same plane. That is a flat molecule. He assumed that. Okay, all molecules are planar. But actually these cycloalkanes are not exist in a planar shape. That means here all carbons are not present in the same plane. Those are exist in a non-planar shape except the cyclopropane. Okay, only cyclopropane is planar, all carbons in the same plane. But cyclopentane, cyclobutane, cyclohexane, these compounds are not exist in a planar shape. It means all carbons are not in the same plane. Okay, how they are exist, let us discuss. Okay, see this one. Here the cyclopropane planar, the cyclobutane exists in a butterfly structure like this. The cyclobutane exists in a butterfly structure. And here the cyclopentane exists in a open envelope structure. Open envelope structure. This is. And here the 6-member ring exists in a different conformations. One of those conformations is a child conformation. In this child conformation, you see these carbons are in the same plane in an upward direction. These carbons are in a downward direction. Okay, those carbons in a downward direction. Okay, so here this is the only planar structure. This one non-planar butterfly structure. This one is a open envelope structure. This carbon is out of the ring, out of the plane. Here these 3 carbons in one plane, these 3 carbons in another plane. That means the 3 carbons upward plane, 3 carbons downward plane. That mostly exist in a child conformation. Mostly exist in a child conformation. Okay, like this. So now here how why those cyclic rings are exist in a these non-planar shape to attain the tetrahedral angle actually. In a 90-degree angle, those are very unstable. So to get the stability, they are exist in a non-planar shape. Here in this case here, the bond angle is not 90 degrees. Okay, that slightly approaches closely to the tetrahedral angle. For suppose in a child conformation, this angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. In a child conformation, that carbon-carbon angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. Okay, of course 109 degrees exactly. That means here in cyclohexane in child conformation approaches almost tetrahedral angle. So to get the stability or to get the relief from the angle strain, those are exist in a non-planar shape. Now let us discuss the conformations of the cyclohexane. And next, let us discuss the conformations of cyclohexane. Okay. So mostly cyclohexane is stable in a child conformation. Of course, different conformations are possible. Twist boat, okay, boat conformation of child. Okay. So let us discuss about the mainly child conformation of the cyclohexane. Okay. So see this one generally, a stability order of cyclohexane conformations. Stability order. Here child conformation is more stable. And next twist boat is more stable. And next boat conformation more stable. And then here off child conformation least stable. Okay, that is the off child conformation. So generally here this child form actually these 3 carbons in upward direction, the 3 carbons in downward direction. Now on each carbon there are 2 hydrogens. These 2 hydrogens are not equal. That means here this is the axial bond, this is the axial bond, and this is the equatorial bond. So at every carbon there are the 2 types of bonds, axial bonds and equatorial bonds. So here in this case, you see this one, the child conformation always exists in a equilibrium with another child conformation. For suppose here H1, here H2. This is the axial hydrogen, this is the equatorial hydrogen. In this conversion, one child form to other child form conversion, here that equatorial bond becomes a axial and the axial bond becomes a equatorial. Okay. So actually here this conversion, here child form to actually here half child. Okay, so here half child to twist boat. Okay, half child to twist boat, and next year boat conformation. Again next twist boat. Okay, again next year half child conformation. Okay, half child conformation like this. Okay, half child conformation, and then next another child conformation. Okay, this is the conversion of the one child form to another child form through the half child, twist boat, twist boat, and half child and child form. So in this conversion, axial bond becomes a equatorial, equatorial bond becomes a axial. Okay, now you see this one. On each carbon. So actually here how to write the cyclohexane child conformation, like this we can write. Yeah. Okay, that means here these two bonds lengths are same. That means here these two are parallel. Okay. So here this is the axial bond. Okay, this is the equatorial bond. This is the axial bond, this is the equatorial bond. This one axial, this is equatorial. This is axial, this is equatorial. And axial, this one equatorial, this one equatorial, this one axial. That means here at every carbon that straight lines in upward direction or in downward direction are the axial bonds. Okay, upward direction axial, here downward direction. Straight lines are the axial bonds. Okay, here this one is the axial bond. This is the axial bond. This is the axial bond. Okay, at every carbon axial and equatorial bonds are there. Okay, that's it. Now here coming to this one. Yeah, these two are existing in equilibrium actually. Here 50% of this one and 50% of this one. So here in this case the equilibrium constant equals to 1. Equilibrium constant equals to 1. Okay. Of course here delta G for this one 0. Delta G. Okay, gives free energy 0 because exactly these are existing in equilibrium. Because here this is the hydrogen, this is the hydrogen. Okay, because here these two are the similar size hydrogen atoms. Of course, if a substituted cyclohexane is there, that means here you see methyl cyclohexane. Methyl cyclohexane. For methyl cyclohexane, either methyl occupy axial position or here either methyl occupy equatorial position. These two are different because here hydrogen and methyl are the different size atoms. Okay, so here CH3 is larger size and hydrogen smaller in size. Now which one occupy axial position, which one occupy equatorial position? Okay, now let us discuss the stability of the conformations of the substituted cyclohexane. Okay. Yeah. You see this one. For suppose methyl cyclohexane. This methyl cyclohexane, CH3 it is. CH3. This one hydrogen. Now here these two are not exist in exactly equilibrium. For this one K equilibrium constant is more than 1, not equals to 1. Here more than 1 because here this concentration higher. Here this one exists 95%, this one exists just 5%. That means here that methyl group is preferred to stay in equatorial position. Okay, this methyl group preferred to stay in equatorial position. Why this one is not prefer axial position? You see this one, whenever this methyl is in axial position, here there is a hydrogen, axial hydrogen, there is a hydrogen. So here hydrogen and this larger methyl group repel each other. These are the 1,3 diaxial repulsions. These are 1,3 diaxial repulsions. So because of these 1,3 diaxial repulsions, this is unstable. This one is unstable. Okay. So here in this case, whenever this methyl is in equatorial position, here there are no repulsion. Here in this case this hydrogen axial, so here less repulsion, smaller size atoms, but here larger size methyl, more repulsion. Okay, so here in this case less repulsion, and this methyl here equilibrium, this direction is different. Okay, this direction is different. But methyl is in a downward direction. Okay, this methyl is in a downward direction, no repulsion. So of course here there is a hydrogen at this point, but here direction is different. One methyl is directed like this and hydrogen directed like this. Okay, so methyl and here and this carbon hydrogen are in a different direction. So these two are not repel each other. Okay, if you can see the 3D diagram, we can understand easily. Okay, so here this one is a 95% stable. Now first suppose see this one. I am taking tertiary butyl cyclohexane. Tertiary butyl, methyl. Okay, CH3, this one CH3, this one CH3, hydrogen. Now here tertiary butyl in the equatorial position. Here in this case 99% is stable, this one. Because this tertiary butyl is a very larger group than the methyl. So here there are severe 1,3 diaxial repulsions. There are severe 1,3 diaxial repulsions. That's why it is a very unstable. This is very unstable. Okay. So with increasing the size of the alkyl group that prefer to stay in equatorial position. So here we can finalize larger groups prefer to stay in equatorial position. Prefer to stay in equatorial position. Okay, larger groups prefer to stay in equatorial position always. Okay, we can fix that. Now here, see this one. Let us discuss the conformations of the dimethyl cyclohexane. Here it is a cis dimethyl cyclohexane. Cis dimethyl cyclohexane. Cis means here above the plane methyl, upward direction. This is also upward direction. Okay, that is cis conformation. Upward direction and upward direction. Now next see another possibility. This is a downward direction and methyl also downward direction. It is also cis conformation. Here first conformation, here second conformation. Now in this case this methyl axial position, this methyl equatorial position. Now this methyl equatorial position, this methyl axial in position. That means here one methyl axial, one methyl equatorial. So those are equally stable. That means here there is a 1,3 diaxial repulsion. For this one there is a 1,3 diaxial repulsion. For this methyl there are no repulsions. For this methyl there are repulsions. For this methyl there are repulsions. So these are equally stable. Now here I am writing the conformations for the trans dimethyl cyclohexane. You see this one, trans. So this is upward methyl, this is the downward methyl. Upward methyl, downward methyl. That means here CH3 and this one is a CH3. Okay? Upward methyl and downward methyl. Because it is a trans, upward, downward, opposite, so trans. Now next you see this one. Downward methyl, downward methyl, this is upward methyl. So it is a trans actually. Now in this case, these two methyl groups are trans each other. Okay. So here in this case here, those two methyl groups are axial. So here, for both methyl groups axial repulsions, 1,3 diaxial repulsions. This methyl group experience the repulsions. This methyl also experience the repulsions. Here in this case, one methyl group experience the 1,3 diaxial repulsions. Here in this case also. But in this case here, for two methyl groups, there are no 1,3 diaxial repulsions. Of course, here we can assume that. We can think these two methyl groups are very close. But here, the direction is different. Okay. We can see the 3D diagram. Clearly we can understand. Okay. The direction is different. So here, this is the third conformation. This is the fourth conformation. Now here we can give the stability order for these conformations. Okay. So here fourth one is more stable and the second, first equally stable, and 3 is the least stable because those two methyl groups are axial in position. That's it. Okay? Yeah. For 1,2 dimethyl. Now let us write for the 1,3 dimethyl. Here above the plane methyl, above the plane methyl. You see this one, your methyl upward direction, methyl upward direction. Okay, that is cis actually. Now here there are very severe repulsions, methyl larger, methyl larger. Now here another conformation, you see this one, downward methyl, here downward methyl, cis actually. Now in this case here both are in equatorial position, both are in axial position. First one, here second. Now writing for the trans 1,3 dimethyl. Trans 1,3 dimethyl. Upward direction, now this is downward direction. Upward direction, downward direction. Okay? So in this case here, axial, equatorial. One is axial, one is equatorial. Okay, the axial, equatorial. Now this is equatorial, axial. So these are equally stable. And which is more stable? Second one is more stable because both are in equatorial position. Now here both are in axial position, least stable. So here third one and fourth one are equally stable. Okay, that is stability order. And we can write the conformations for the 1,4 dimethyl cyclohexane. Okay. So next is see this one. Here this is the tertiary butyl and this is the methyl. Okay, and this is methyl. Now here there are three alkyl groups. Now here what is the stable conformation of this cyclohexane derivative? Here in this case methyl, here tertiary butyl. So actually first of all you have to write the larger groups in equatorial position. Then with respect to that equatorial alkyl group, we have to arrange the remaining alkyl groups. That means here this is a bulky group, so here first of all it should be written in equatorial position. Now here 1,4 cis, that means here it is upward direction, so this methyl also must be in upward direction. That's it. Now these two are in a transfer. This is the upward direction, so this one must be in a downward direction. Here even these two methyl groups are axial, this bulky group in equatorial position. That means here another conformation possible, see this one. This tertiary butyl, okay, axial position. That means it is a downward and this is a methyl downward because tertiary butyl and methyl cis actually. If it is a downward, then this one also downward. Next is see this one. These two methyls are trans. So it is a downward, must be upward direction. But this is a less stable action. This is a less stable because than the methyl, this tertiary butyl group is more repulsive, larger group, so here more repulsive. Here in this case more repulsive. So this is a stable conformation. This is a stable conformation. So here the conformation which has a alkyl group in equatorial position is more stable. Okay, that means a larger alkyl group. First suppose see this one, methyl and methyl. For this one stable conformation, so first of all write the tertiary butyl in equatorial position and these two are cis, that means here upward methyl and these two are also cis, upward methyl. This is a stable conformation. Okay, there is a stable conformation. So first we have to write that larger group in equatorial position. With respect to that, we have to arrange the remaining alkyl groups. Okay, that's it. Now see this one. Here OH, this one OH. It is a 1,3 diol, cyclohexane 1,3 diol. Here let us write the conformation. Here OH downward, this OH downward. Okay, downward, cis actually. Now here next another possibility is see this one. OH upward, your OH upward. But here in this case, both are in axial position, it is stable. Even both are in axial position, stable because of the hydrogen bond. Because of the hydrogen bond. Okay, that is stable in hydrogen bonding actually. First suppose here, what about the transfer? Your OH, this is a OH. Of course, this OH, you see this one, OH and this is OH, transfer. In this case, no hydrogen bonding actually. So, it is ultimately stable in this form. Okay. So, one is the upward, one is the downward, must be. So, no hydrogen bond chance. First suppose see this one. Your OH, this one OH. Cyclohexane 1,4 diol. The stable conformation, let us write. First suppose this is the downward. This is the downward actually. Okay. Or we can write like this. This is the upward. Okay. This one upward. Okay. These two are the conformations. But actually here, this one is stable in a both conformation. You see this one OH, this one OH. Here upward OH, so cis actually. It is stable in a both form because of the hydrogen bond. Stable form for the cyclohexane 1,4 diol due to hydrogen bond. Now here, let us write the stable conformation for the trans 1,4 diol. Trans 1,4 diol. For trans downward OH, here upward OH. That means it is equatorial. This is the stable conformation. It is stable conformation for the cyclohexane 1,4 diol. Trans isomer and cis isomer. Okay? That's it. And next, another one exceptional point. This is the tertiary butyl. This is the tertiary butyl. This tertiary butyl is, see this one. This one is a downward direction. This one is a downward direction. That is this one. Here for this cis isomer, one is must be equatorial, one must be axial position. But this bulky group in axial position unstable. That's why this form is stable in a. This form is stable in a fixed boat form. Fixed boat form. That means here it twisted like this here. Okay, it twisted like this. In this twisting here, this one is in an equatorial position. Twist boat actually. This is the equatorial and this is the axial. In this twisting actually, it becomes a equatorial position. Okay? That means here we have to raise this carbon and we have to twist it like this. So in this operation it becomes equatorial. So twist both form. Okay, cis 1,4 di-tertiary butyl cyclohexane stable in a twist both form. Okay. So next here, that means here after the child form, that cyclohexane stable in a twist both form. Now here, if it is a trans actually, that is stable in a. If it is a trans actually, that is stable in a child conformation because both are in an equatorial position. Okay, equatorial and equatorial. That is stable conformation. Okay, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So that is the conformations of the cyclohexane. So next class I will start the general organic chemistry.